The more you think about it, the more you'll talk yourself out of it. You've just got to make that decision. I think that it's really important to have people supporting you. It's a massive thing. It's a massive challenge. If you don't feel like doing, say, an 8-mile run that day, why don't you do 2 4-mile runs? Because 4 miles, you think, oh gosh, that's easy now.
I ran down from where the Virgin Radio studios are down to Victoria train station, and I skirted round Westminster Parliament Square and saw the Mall, and I was like, oh my God, that's going to be me. Hello and welcome to episode 2 of I Can Run a Marathon with me, Emma B. It's lovely to have you with us again. This is the podcast for past-its who thought maybe doing all the hard stuff was a done deal. It turns out it's not. And we can. So welcome. Joining us for this episode is a former model you'll know from the 90s who swapped front covers for finish lines and getting over them really quickly, smashing the London Marathon in 2004 in a whopping 2 hours and 54 minutes. That is well fast. Nell McAndrew will be joining us a little bit later as well. Also, fellow glasses wearers, this has been the conundrum this week. And thank you so much for getting stuck in and getting involved and offering all your advice as well. Do you wear your glasses when you're running? If not, what do you do? Our previous guest, Helen Thorne, says she wears something called varifocal glasses. Can I ask you as well, because you're a fellow glasses wearer?
Yes.
Do you run with them or do you drop them?
Yes, I do. Usually for the first bit, because otherwise I can't read. I can't read my watch. Also, I can't do social media, and what's the point? Anyway, I don't know how to use my phone without my glasses. That's a very important part of running and looking at Strava. Anyway, so I've got really glasses that I will wear that I can take off.
Okay, fine.
And they're quite light, but also you can get, and they're really ugly, like awful ugly. I was going to say bifold. What I mean?
Varifocal.
Thank you.
But I really like the idea of bifocal glasses. Thank you very much to Margaret. Hello, Margaret, who got in touch to say varifocal contacts for the run. Perfect. Lots of people saying contact lenses. Sarah said varifocal contacts are the way to go. Varifocal glasses bouncing. And she said they make her feel a bit sick. Also, I get very hot running, so yes, they steam up. I totally agree, Sarah. Normal contacts, you can't see your watch. Well, like Helen said on last week's podcast, you can't see your watch, you can't see your phone, so you can't do social media. You need to be able to do social media when you're doing the marathon. It's a flipping nightmare, she says, being a focusing, challenged, menopausal woman. So many issues there, Sarah, but thank you very much for your advice. Hugely appreciated. If you're following this podcast along with your marathon training as well, let me know. How's it going? Where are you at? We are now under 100 days to go. So at the weekend, I did my first 10K.
Look at the state of me. Okay. What did we just do? Damo!
10K! Yeah.
I just did what he just did 10K. He does lots of 10Ks. He's done that.
First time. Well done, baby.
First time. We went up and down, and there was, okay, I just did 10K. I'm going to go and have a freezing cold bath now.
Do you know what as well? And I know there's still a really long way to go. But that's the first time I've ever run that far. There was a little bit of walking, but it was majority running. I looked like a beetroot at the end of it, and it was really hard. But you kind of think, if you've been following me and this journey, it's the progress, isn't it? And when I started running for the very first time at the end of October, I was, don't forget, running for a minute, walking for 90 seconds. So, pat myself on the back, pat you on the back as well, if you're running and this is where you're at. It's amazing. Also this week as well, I don't know about you, but the headline to women definitely over 40, if you're running, definitely through perimenopause and into menopause, is the strength training that we absolutely have to do. And I've been doing the strength training in my plan. I'm very sure there's strength training in your plan as well. But what I'm finding is that the headline for me is that I've not been lifting nearly enough weight. And if you're following an app, I don't know whether you agree. Yes, there's lots of guidance about exercises, but not how much you should be lifting. And also, gyms can be really scary places, right? They can be. And sometimes in a gym, you will often find all the women on the treadmills and the bikes, and not so many women in the weights area, where it can be quite macho. And if you don't know what you're doing, it can be really scary getting in there with the weights. So, knowing what you're doing is really important. And if you can possibly get, somebody in the gym to go round with you, do a session with you, so you know how much you should be lifting, it's like priceless. It's absolutely priceless. More power. Also, I've had some physio from the running room with my lovely Nuno. Some niggles on my left side. My left gluteus maximus, which is fairly maximus, he had to kind of get in there and knead around a little bit. And then I had the physio. I'm joking. That's outrageous. But also, looking after yourself and stretching, keeping warm. I've been having a lot of magnesium salt baths as well, at least 2 or 3 of those a week. So let us know how you're getting on. It'd be really nice to know whether there are any niggles, what you're doing about them, how much strength training you're doing. That would all be really good to know. And you can get in contact via the show notes. We'll let you know about that later. So someone who knows all about the importance of strength training beyond running is the fabulous Nell McAndrew, who smashed the London Marathon in an incredible 2 hours and 54 minutes. Well, joining us for this episode is former model. You'll know her from the 90s. She swapped front covers for finish lines and running over them super, super quick as well. Her mantra to get through it: I can do this. So it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Please welcome to the podcast the gorgeous Nell McAndrew.
Hello.
Hey! Look at us matchy with our hats. It's because we're runners, isn't it? And
Yeah,
we have to keep our hair out of our...
You don't have to do your hair.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like always a sweaty mess underneath. So it's just
me too.
Put a cap on.
I knew I'd have something in common with Nell McAndrew. I knew it. Thank you. It's really lovely that you're here. And thank you so far as well for all the gorgeous support you've given me on Instagram and via the podcast posting. It's truly appreciated. It really is.
I think that it's really important to have people supporting you. It's a massive thing. It's a massive challenge. And I know you mentioned your husband's going to be running with you, and he's helping with your training. That alone is so good.
Yeah, I really feel for the people, especially now, it's sort of when it's still dark and, we're coming to the end of January and people are really putting in the miles at the moment, but it's dark and it's wet and it's windy and it's miserable. That's hard enough to get out the front door, but doing that on your own is tough.
Yes, it is. It's really hard, and this is the beginning of your journey. So let's face it. It's going to be hard. You've never run a marathon before.
No.
If it was that easy, you'd just be thinking, oh well, I'll sign up to one every week. It's life changing. And you've just got to chip away at it, like little building blocks. Just keep chipping away. Follow the plan. Believe in yourself. Believe in the process, because it will all come together on the day. And even if it doesn't, if it all kind of goes a bit pear-shaped, that's okay, because you're going to fuel yourself. You're going to believe in yourself. You're going to tell yourself out loud, all the way around. You're going to say to yourself, I can do this. I can do this. And you're just going to run along. You're going to have little things in your head, different people that you've met on the way, different people that you've, got things in common with. Everything that you've gone through, it's going to be your fuel to get through. So whatever happens, you are going to do this, and you've got to keep telling yourself that. And it's just the start.
I think do you know what's so fascinating about this? And I don't know whether we're going to go back to when you started, because you weren't a marathon runner, anything from it. I know that you were a sporty kid, but you weren't a marathon runner. And there's a disconnect, and I don't know whether it's because it's such a silly distance, it's so far for for most of us to even imagine. But there is that little disconnect between and the way that you approach anything massive in life is by breaking it down. Otherwise you don't do it because you get too overwhelmed and you can't, and you stop trying because you can't imagine something that big. So you have to do it literally step by step.
You do. You've got to break it down into chunks. So first of all, you're going to break it down into just one day.
Yeah.
Are you doing any training today? Or have you got it in your diary to train?
Yeah.
So you just try and tick it off. That's what I used to do. I just used to put it on in my little diary as part of my, get a shopping, school run, training, 5 miles, tick it off. And I just used to think of it as this chunk, this small chunk.
Yeah.
The whole plan was going to be like 3 months out of, the year. So it's only 3 months.
And come on,
12
it's 3
weeks.
months, isn't it? Exactly,
It's nothing.
Yeah.
I'm going to get through this. And then you break it down into that week. So you'd think, right, I'm going to get through week 1 of my training. Just week 1. Cross it off. Big cross if you want, yes.
Treat yourself to a big pen.
And just, marker. And it's like ticking things off.
Yeah.
And then, did that, week 2, brilliant. And before you know it, it'll feel like it's going really slow. And then you might feel really sluggish, your legs feel heavy. You think, oh gosh, I'm just not getting any faster. It's not feeling any easier. But it will start to slowly but surely feel a little bit easier. And the thing is, you're training to get through it. It's an unknown. You're not expected to turn up and think, right, I'm going to pace it exactly like this.
Yeah.
You're just going to do it how you feel. So, be flexible. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up if it doesn't go to plan. Just have like a plan, something else.
You readjust and get going.
That's
don't
it.
you?
Adjust it. Swap your days. If it's icy outside, swap that day to do it. Instead of the Tuesday, do it on Thursday. Just swap your days around.
And I think that's one of the things, isn't it? About there's a way. I think one of the reasons why that I wanted to talk to you, and we wanted you to be involved in this is not just because of the amazing success that you've had in this arena, but also in amongst the immense amount of noise there is when you announce that you're doing a marathon, or when you announce that you're you're taking running seriously. You then instantly bombarded, and social media can be a blessing. It also can be a mire of information, and I found as well that all of a sudden there's any number of running apps, and they're all great for different reasons, any number of lots of different accounts with lots of different advice, people doing really well, people doing chasing times, and all of a sudden you're in this arena with all these different messages coming, and there's something about the way that you do it. It just makes it all so straightforward and simple, and in the book author Nell McAndrew,
well, with Lucy Water, I have to say, she's like, together we worked as a team, and she's a runner,
but
as
it's
well.
I think it's really you just make it really uncomplicated, and it feels to me that's been your approach from day one. Because take us back now, you were a sporty kid, but you weren't a runner. You didn't like athletics very much, did you?
Not really, no.
How could I mean, you must have been fairly, you're quite tall now, aren't you?
Yeah, I think I just I initially agreed to run the London Marathon because I was raising money for charity. And
did you know at that point, did you know that you could do it, or
no,
did you know?
complete
really
unknown.
Seriously?
And it was that like, oh, what will it be like? And then everybody shares their stories.
Yeah,
they're desperate to share the stories and their experience and the trainers that they're wearing, and
have I told you I'm running a marathon?
It can become so overwhelming because there's all this information.
Yeah.
But everybody's different, and everybody's marathon experience will be different. Everybody's going to, you'll have different emotions, different reasons for running. You're going to experience all those highs and lows. I mean, it's just going to be so emotional.
I think it's really nice though, because when we've had a little chat beforehand as well, that your face lights up when you talk about it.
Oh, I love it.
So take us back to that first day, that first marathon. It was a challenge to raise some money.
Yes.
Which you raising money for charity was nothing new. You'd done that 1,000 times. But the marathon, what was your plan? What was your plan to train on that? And what was that? That was fairly standard time, wasn't it?
3:22.
That
Yes, it's embedded in your brain. You'll never forget your marathon time. And I remember just being at the start line. It was raining. I was wearing my bin liner because I recommend just to keep
Look
warm.
at you! I
And
love
I'd
it.
been in Portloe about 10 times. Another nervous wee. And I was stood there, and Jim McDonnell, ex-professional boxer, was so friendly, and he just started chatting to me as if he'd known me all my life.
Oh my gosh!
And wow, how are you, Nelske? And he's just like, and we just started chatting, and then he was telling me about, what to do, don't go off too fast, and everybody always does tell you that anyway.
Yeah, of
don't
course.
go off too fast because it's like a wave.
I'm kind of like, I have to say, I'm proud of what we've done already, and we're not even halfway. But I think as well, the race is what it is, and that's an experience that everybody tells me will be entirely life changing. But also, I think as an older, and I'm 55 now, and dedicating this amount of time to myself and something that I want to do is something that I just haven't done since before kids. You just haven't done that. And saying, no, I'm going to go out for 2 hours tonight. I'm going to go and do this for myself. And I'm not even doing it because it's going to benefit the kids, or I'm not even doing it so that I can earn some more money to pay the mortgage off. It's literally entirely without strings. The only strings attached to this is me and what I want to do. And as women, I think we do rarely do that. And you're a mum, how do you fit it in?
Well, it's always been a struggle, and that's why I had a running pushchair. Highly recommend it if somebody's got younger children. Running buggy all the way. It's the only way that I could do it. So it would be run to the shops, fill the buggy with the potatoes and everything at the bottom, makes you even faster and stronger. And we
don't need these potatoes, kids, but they're just going to add the weight that I need.
Rice cakes, for kids snacks. But I used to always do it when my son was younger. It would be really, that was when I'd have him in the park, wear him out, and then he'd have all his bits of snacks and food and stuff, and then he'd be due asleep. So I'd think, right, get him in the buggy, do a loop around the park. But then when I'd finished that loop, that's when he woke up and he was raring to go again.
You're like, no, I'm tired now.
So it's just having constant, being prepared.
Yeah.
Making sure you've got your fuel and refuel always, hydration, drinking lots of water. But it's really hard when you're trying to juggle it around. I used to do one of my runs after school drop off, and then do the other run. This was on my my fastest marathon. I used to do another short run going to school pickup, so it was kind of like, it was only making it a little bit longer than it would have been, but it meant that I could squeeze it in the day sensibly. Otherwise I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have been able to do that mileage.
Two things that you never thought I'd hear in the same sentence: school pickup and fastest marathon. I mean, look, that's remarkable. That is remarkable. How fast was your fastest marathon?
2 hours and 54. That's embedded on my brain as well.
Come on. Good Lord, woman.
And so I didn't get a blister. I felt great, but I think breaking it up into 2 short runs, do you know what? Let's face it, I was like a guinea pig for myself, really. I'd Googled different sub-3 marathons and what the training process is, and it said the longest runs...
You Googled some training Googled some training programs on your under 3 hour marathon. Now you're a delight, honestly.
But
it's amazing.
It might work for you.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking now, I've got a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
It just might work where if you don't feel like doing, say, an 8 mile run that day, why don't you do 2 4-mile runs? Because 4 miles you think, oh gosh, that's easy now.
Yes.
That's easy.
Yes. Yeah.
You can do it. Whereas even 4 miles might have felt like, oh, I'm not sure if I can do that. It feels quite a long way. Whereas now you're actually thinking, 8 miles, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can visualise that. Visualisation's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
Really important. In your training, and then when you're training, visualise yourself running the marathon. You guys, I can do this. You're going to see yourself crossing the finish line. And because when you're at the marathon, I'm jumping ahead again now. When you're at the marathon, on that last chunk of time, the last 5 miles, just imagine you're running that usual loop that you do, where you might have had ups and downs. You've had meltdowns and you've cried, or you've thought, why am I doing this? But you're at the marathon now. You're actually there, and you've got to mile 20, 21, and that's the hardest time. time. It's by far the hardest time. And you're just going to visualise yourself running that loop. Because that loop, you think,
I can do
5
that.
miles. That's fine. I can do that. So switch it around. It is the hardest 5 miles, but at the same time, you can do that distance easily normally.
Yeah.
So just think about it. You're just at the, the bit near the river, or you're just at the bit near that bus stop right now, and you're just there. I've always tried to visualise.
Okay.
And I find that really helpful.
Hang on a second. So that's really interesting. What you've just said is actually to try and visualise the 5 miles that you would run in your training.
Yes.
So you're in your own environment. You recognise that route. You recognise how you've run that and how comfortable that's felt in the past. That's really interesting.
And the hard times that you've had running it.
Yeah.
So you might have actually struggled on that last bit, but then you're at the end of your road and you're going to sprint finish. You're going to sprint up that street and you're going to get to your door. And but the finish line is going to be even more amazing than that. It's going to be even,
It was funny. I did a run. I ran down through London, because we're in central London here, and I ran down from where the Virgin Radio studios are down to Victoria train station, which is about 5.5, nearly 6 kilometres. And I skirted round Westminster Parliament Square and saw the Mall, and I was like, oh my God, that's going to be me. That's just and it's crazy. Does that, and how many marathons have you done now?
I think it's 8.
It's at 8.
That sounds really big.
Does the thrill of seeing that last bit ever get any less exciting?
No, it's just amazing, because it's just a whole wall of crowds, people cheering you on.
And you can hear them shouting your name.
And your emotions at that point are just like...
Do you ever cry?
Overflowing, absolutely.
Oh my God.
Cry, then I'm laughing, then I'm crying again. Then I'm like, oh, that's lovely, waving at somebody, chatting to somebody outside of you. Or you might be just fully focused.
Yeah.
You might not want to chat, because, to be fair, that's using energy, and you need all the energy that you can get. So whilst it can be nice, it can also be quite tiring.
Yeah.
So it depends how you feel, because whatever gets you through it.
Yeah.
So that when I ran my fastest marathon, I just wanted to focus. So I waved a lot, but tried not to wave too much, because I didn't want to use too much energy. But you feel like waving at everybody, going thank you, because they're all shouting your name, because you'll have your name on your vest.
Yes. Yeah.
And you just can't believe that everybody's cheering you on, and they're just, you might have a message on, the reason why you're running on the back, and you're reading other people's reasons for running on the back of their
Of
tops.
course, it's all these things that you don't think about.
While you've got all this time, because even though it's not a lot of time, if you think about it, it's a few hours, right?
Yeah.
But that's a lot of time.
It is for you, Nell. It's like...
It's a lot of
half
time.
a day for me.
It's just a lot of time to think, to put things in perspective, to go through everything that you've gone through to get you to that point. Why are you running?
Tell me about your lovely mum. She's texted, hasn't she?
She's texted, yeah. She said, you can do this. This is easy now,
Thanks, Mum.
after everything that you've been through. Because my mum was 54 when she ran the marathon.
What was the persuading like? What was the story? How did you decide, Mum, you got to do this? Did she put her hand up a bit?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I checked. And my mum got married when she was 16. She had my sister when she was 17. She's been
looking after you all her life.
Looking after 4 children, working hard, several jobs, just really no time to herself.
Of course not.
0 time. So this was her chance, in a way, to have a bit of time to herself.
Amazing.
And prove to herself that she could do it, good for her health. So I was trying to just encourage her that I thought she should do it, and she agreed, and that was it. Right, signed there.
It's too late now.
And she was helping raise money for charity.
Amazing.
So it was really good. But and she didn't do quite as much training as I would have liked her to have done. And she has admitted that. And which might have helped incorporate, the reason why she might have found it really, really hard.
Did you run with her?
I've ran with her the whole time.
Okay.
Because I was worried about her.
Yeah.
And
that's so gorgeous.
But what a great experience.
Yeah. Now
looking back at it, even me when I was just flicking through, the book.
Yeah.
I I remember that day. I remember what it felt like. I remember that experience. I mean, my mum didn't feel too great on the second half, and she lost her toenails, and we had to squeeze her in my son's buggy at the end.
No, this is.
We'll push that bit to a side.
Because you took your son out of the buggy in order to put mum in,
because she couldn't move. She completely seized up, and me and my friend Zoe, she found it all very funny. But it was really hard for her, but she did it.
And did she get it? Did she enjoy it as much as you hoped she would do? I mean, did she the crowd and the experience in the day?
I don't know if she did, but yeah, she's really glad that she's done it. That's the important thing, and she knows it was a massive achievement.
Nice for her to be able to see what you do as well, and she might. I mean, now that she did it with you as well, it must have given her different eyes to see what you do as well.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to do it for her.
Yeah,
you know? I wanted her to do it, to feel good and
at this
do
age,
something.
How old are you?
I'm 52 now.
Yeah, well, you know the thing. Gosh, look at you, look amazing. Can I have some
wear
of this?
a cap.
Can I have some of this, please? wear the pea cap. That's it. We're done. But I think as well, there is. I mean, a large part of this for me has been as well is kind of feeling like there've been sort of two bits of my life, and this bit I'm so ready for. Like, I'm so ready for
fire,
like a real fire in my belly. And having kind of gone through some difficult bits and menopause, and the kids are a bit grown up now. Yeah, and I'm really, really ready for it. And I think though, there is, and this comes in all shapes and sizes, is that feeling that I'm now stuck. I'm stuck. This is what I've been doing. This is my job. This is what I've been doing for ages. I'm a mum. I do, this for a living, whatever. Is that complete shift at this time in your life is too difficult. And you managed, you did that. You were in a very different career. You were in a really different career, and saying, being able to turn that around and looking forward and kind of going, no, I'm going to do this now is like steering a huge ship. It's massive, and that must have been it must have been quite difficult for you to find what it was that you were going to do, but it is possible.
Oh, it is possible. And I think the great thing about running is it doesn't matter what you look like, what you're wearing. It's just about being you. You can actually be you, and I think that's what the really great thing about it is, because it strips down all the barriers. I mean, when you're stood at the start line, who knows what people do for a living, what the background is, anything. It's just, what age they are. It really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's just about being yourself and just doing it.
I think as well, I have genuinely been surprised about, and I don't know why I don't know what I expected. I do know what I expected. I was frightened, I guess, of joining something that I didn't know very much about. I think probably a lot of people feel the same. If they're listening today, a lot of people feel the same, like you did, about joining a running club, and kind of going, well, everybody's going to be an Olympic athlete at the running club, aren't they? Yeah. Which couldn't be further from the truth. I've yet to run in a big group of people, as in a running club. I did the Santa run, like you.
Oh,
I've done,
yes.
Yeah, that
did
was
you
my
lose
first
the trousers?
Race. Lost the trousers so quickly.
They just fall down, and then you're too hot, and then it's like, and then it's just the beard's just gone, and it's just,
Did you wear the beard?
Well, I tried.
I tried to wear the beard. Yeah, there was too much chafing, and then the beard came off, and then the hat came. It was really itchy. And the trousers just went further and further down. But that was my first medal.
Oh, brilliant!
That was my first running medal, was the Santa run, and I thought I saw that you'd done it, and I was like, if Nell does the Santa run, it's fine.
I think you should just sign up for, and the gap. You'll have like different spaces in your plan, and use that time to sign up to a race. One of them that you can just sign up on the day. Yeah. So there's no pressure.
Oh God, of course.
Do that's what I used to do. I just used to think, right, okay, well, on that day I need to really know that I can do, say, a half marathon. So it's just a nice little test, a little taster. Yeah. So you go sign up. It feels like a race day, but it's on a much smaller scale. And
what's your race day? I mean, well, you're gonna talk to me about your routine as well, and you've got so much advice to give me as well about my body, and what I should, some great tips from you about training. Race day, the marathon race day, everybody I know has said it can be really quite overwhelming first time as well. There are thousands of people there. There's people carrying bags. There's all sorts of stuff. I know producer James doesn't want to talk to me very much about it because he wants me to experience it, and he's like, I don't want to tell you too much. So without kind of going into it then, because I kind of like that idea as well. What are your big tips about race day and being in groups of huge numbers of people, in terms of the race that you want to run?
Well, I think it's actually that last week.
Oh, okay.
It's really quite hard because you've been doing all your training and then you've got to kind of taper off.
Yes. So
you're kind of in your zone and, you've got your flow, you're going to be feeling, yeah, I can do this. And then that last week, you've got to kind of, look after yourself. Your mileage is going down. Then you start doubting yourself. Can I do it? Because you're just thinking, right, I'm not running as many miles. Will I be able to do it? But it's actually great because you want to really have that rest. You want to fuel up. Make sure you've rested. Fresh legs. I keep saying this.
Is there a fresh legs shop?
Absolutely.
And then just actually need fresh legs.
On the day, I always say, wear a different pair of trainers to go in. Because,
a controversial move. Nell McAndrew says wear a different pair of trainers for your marathon day.
Do you know why?
No, to go in.
Because you want to get there really early. I was always one at first.
I can imagine you're an early bird. Are you really?
No, not normally.
There?
But I wanted to get there really early because so I could just hang around the portal. Sorry. And then because your feet get wet, on the dewy grass.
Is that Nell McAndrew hanging around the Portaloo? She's been there for ages. But you don't know that you've got to get these things right, haven't you?
Because I'm a bit of a faffer, I want to make sure everything's pinned up. Well, I don't know, is it still pins? I don't know.
Yes, yeah.
So you want to make sure that you've got the night before you should do all this anyway. Have all your trainers, your layout. The layout is the cool thing, isn't it?
That's the Instagram post.
Yeah, I wasn't very good at that, but it just, as long as you've got it in a pile, ready to go in a bag, ready to go in your body,
you're fine.
Then you're fine. But you want to go in a different pair of shoes because your feet are going to get wet if it's all dewy on the grass.
Of course.
You don't want to start with cold, wet toes, right? That's a really bad start. I think
great.
It might not be raining, but the grass will be wet.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you've had your breakfast early.
Yeah.
2 to 3 hours earlier.
2 to 3 hours earlier. So we are getting up. We are getting up early, aren't we? Yes, we are getting up super early. Eat first. And actually, so I'm gonna have to write a timeline backwards for the day. But this is absolutely priceless information.
Make sure you're hydrated.
Yes.
Because you want to make sure that I ended up, I don't know what people have now, but I made sure that I had Lucozade Sport, the still one.
Yeah.
I'd have about half an hour before I was due to start.
Yeah.
So that I felt like I'd had a little bit of a, sugary energy.
Yeah.
But I'd always have porridge or something for my proper breakfast.
Exactly. Are you a gel girl?
Well, I never had gels because... But I would now.
Can you imagine if you took Nell McAndrew to an Olympic training camp? You'd be beating the world record, honey. You're literally. You're just. This is why we love you, though. So but you didn't.
I didn't.
No,
any
jelly babies, sweets?
Well, no. I used to dilute Lucozade Sport with water.
Yeah.
And have it in one of those with the handle.
Yeah.
You shouldn't obviously do this, but I used to like to run with it just to sip away at it because I once get told, start sipping your fluid within the first 6 miles, because then you're not going to get dehydrated.
You're topping up. You're not you're not letting yourself go to empty.
Because if you're feeling thirsty, then you're dehydrated already.
Yeah, of course.
So you don't want that to happen. You want to just sip. Just sip away.
Okay.
Make sure you use the water stations, the drink stations.
Yeah.
Have some. Yeah. Don't glug. Don't just sip. Good sips.
Yeah,
and then you're keeping topped up. But gels are good. On the last marathon that I did, I actually did try them and it did make a difference.
Okay.
So that's why I thought, well, actually, if I'd have done that years ago, I'd have gone even faster. But, I just was unsure of them, the texture. And but
also,
they've come on a long way now.
I think a lot of people say as well, and all of these things, the way that you decide to fuel, you should be practicing. So you're not doing anything for the first time on that big day at all. And everything that you've done, you should have done before.
3 weeks before the marathon day would have been when you do your longest run.
Yeah.
And that's when it's not about the speed. You want to go really slow.
Right,
Time on your
okay.
feet. It's about time on your feet.
I love this expression of
plodding
yours,
through.
because you were talking about this before, and actually it's the first. This has been so helpful. I really hope if you're listening to this, you're getting as much sort of really good stuff out of this as I am. I've not heard anybody talk about the fact that it's time on your feet.
Yes.
It's a great expression, because even when was the last time I stood up for 5 hours non-stop? Yeah. And if that's realistically between 5 and 6 hours, what I'm looking at it, with my knees and at this age and being the rookie that I am, you don't even stand up for that long. So time on your feet is a great little, it's a great little mantra.
Know that you can just, you'll feel confident that if you go out for a really slow run, on marathon day, that you did 3 hours, you were out for 3 hours on your own, or with your husband 3 weeks ago, and you did it.
Yeah.
So it's like, right, okay, in your mind, you can do that. I can do this. And it's that I can all the way through. Because then by that point, you'll be at such a stage in the marathon itself that then you're on visualising my last 5
by the bus stop, by the potatoes in the buggy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'm going to have to have this. We're going to have this chat. I'm going to have this chat. You're a great cheerleader. Have you ever thought about training other people? I mean, you've got your book. Why don't you know?
Well, I would. I don't know. I would really like, if you lived closer, I'd help you with your training. As in, I'd just come along and chat to you, or jog alongside you.
Maybe we'll have to organise that. I like Leeds.
That's
one
fine.
of my favourite
but
towns.
I was going to say as well, what about parkrun for you? To get used to running with other people.
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like I've got something in my eye.
It's because you've been running so fast, it's like flies.
Oh, that's another thing. You will eat flies.
No, don't say that.
When you're training and
lots of people
you
say.
just take a gasp for air, you're like,
okay, then there's another one.
You might you might eat a fly, or have a fly up your nose, or a fly in your eye. But that's all just part of training. It's just part of the glamour of running.
We've got I've got a 10k booked in. So where are we now? A 10k booked in next weekend.
Oh,
so there's 10k next weekend. Then we're doing the Q half.
Oh yes,
at the end of March.
Yeah.
So we should have overrun by then. So
Right.
we should be at about 17 or 18, 19
so
miles
it'll
by
be a
then.
nice confidence booster.
So it should be a nice confidence
It'll
booster.
be hard.
It'll
But
be hard. It's a really long way.
Training. It's
Yeah.
just training. You're just going to tick that off. Done that.
Love this calm in your voice.
Well, I can say only because I'm not running.
Also,
But
can we talk
yeah.
about this as well?
Oh, yes.
Because you bought me something.
I have.
You bought me snacks. You bought me all
I have.
sorts of snacks.
Well, dark chocolate. You've got I live on dark chocolate, but it's just so nice. And Paula Ratcliffe has dark chocolate apparently.
Yes.
So if it's good enough for her, it's good enough for us. And it's just a really, really good. Apparently it's magnesium.
it's got all sorts. It's got all sorts,
You need that.
including chocolate. It's got all sorts in it.
And
That's very cool.
the herbal teas
Yes.
looks like red wine but more fruity.
I
Tastes more
love
fruity.
this
So it's just
idea.
nice. It's nice and soothing.
Yeah.
What did I bring you?
You bought me some raspberry
cranberry
and raspberry, yeah.
And then the other one's strawberry and juniper.
Oh my,
that's just.
I don't even know what juniper is. It sounds delicious.
I don't, but I just drink it. So just think, when you're feeling a bit tired, a bit emotional, just to get a nice tea, nice herbal tea, dark chocolate, and then I brought you the Oatly biscuits that they come in packs of 2. So keep those in your bum bag.
Please?
Keep
Can
them
we
in your
keep
bum.
her?
Always carry some
so nice.
biscuits in your bum bag.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my
Can I ask you a
motto.
question?
Yeah.
So what do you, when you're race day, you're in shorts and a vest, aren't you?
Oh gosh, yeah, you'll get warm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think that they're saying that they think it's going to be another warm one.
Oh,
I know.
that's great because your muscle will be warm.
Oh,
Your muscles are going
this
to be
is
warm.
fantastic.
So then you won't get as injured. They might be more prone to blisters.
Okay.
Because of sweating, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, think about wearing the right socks. So, that are going to draw the moisture away from your skin.
Yeah.
And making sure you've got the right shoes, which of course are going
We've
to
had
feel
a
like
chat about-
slippers.
Yeah.
You've worn them all that time. Don't be getting new shoes.
I think I have an emotional attachment to my shoes now.
Yeah.
Like
All
I do. I kind of say
old comfy slippers.
Yeah, I say morning. Do you do that with your shoes? I say morning, hi. Well, and I felt like I was cheating on them the other day because I wore a pair of trail shoes because it was wet and muddy and I didn't get on with them, and I felt like I'd cheated on them. I felt like it was awful, and I had to kind of go back and apologise to my shoes. I will never do that again. I'm sorry. It was so they're like, and my friend bought me these 2. You know those little tags that you can get that you can put on your laces, and so I've got these 2 little metal
That's
tags.
fancy.
I'll send you some. There's 2 little metal tags, and you put them on your laces, and it it said she believed she could, so she did. And so
Wow.
like I can see
read it.
them. I can
Yeah.
read it when I'm going. So shoes, if you're listening, I will never ever forsake you ever again.
Thinking about other things that I can tell you about, you must look after your feet, your ankles, your knees, you know, like
Ankles.
feet and ankles, because that affects everything all the way up your body. So yeah, I actually, when I'm at home, I don't wear slippers. I prefer to be at the I kind of like to be barefoot, if I can, with socks or something.
Yeah.
Because to feel the ground.
Yeah,
you know.
And is that somewhere where you go when you're running then? When those, because we had a conversation earlier as well, and you know everybody wears their own shoe, and some people love the really cushion shoes at the moment. You're quite old school, and one of the reasons why it's cool is for you because you like to feel. And what's going through your mind then as a runner when you're feeling your feet on the ground? What does that do for you?
I just like my shoe to move with me.
Right, okay.
You know, rather than, I've just not got used to these more stacked shoes. And I know that probably on race day, actually just get them for race day and then you're going to fly. But because I think, I mean, I'm not sure because, I'm not an expert, but a lot of people have them for a race day, for example, because they're trying to get a good 10K time or something. So then they would have these like more of a super shoe. But for the general training, I think it's better to wear something that's really comfy, that allows your feet to, to be nice and spread and just to be able to move. You know, so that you're not kind of rocking too much.
Yeah, so you're reusing, and it's funny because I had one of the first. If you've been listening, you'll know that I'm having a little bit of physio from a very experienced guy at the running room, and they know what they're talking about. And he said I had a case of floating toe.
Oh,
so my floating toes, they rarely so your toes are up like that the whole time, and those shoes, the really built up shoes, don't encourage you to do that. And he said,
did he say the same then?
He said yes, he did. He said the power and also the reason being is that your big toe is really strong, and it's extra muscle to help you move,
to push off. Yeah. So I think that there's a really, it's maybe good for like when you're elite sports person and you know you've got different shoes for different things, but I think your big toe is really important, and if your big toe is weak, then that will affect everything. And I'm only learning that from like your people that I've met.
Yeah, what I keep doing when it's got tough. When it's got tough so far, I imagine my family with the two kids around the dinner table when they're really, really taking the mickey out of each other, and me and Damien just sit and laugh at them because it's so nice to see the kids, to get the kids together and because it's just my favourite, most comfy place, and you just it's just so lovely. It's such a, and I keep thinking about that, and now I've got so sidetracked thinking about my lovely family.
Will they be at the end of the marathon?
Yes,
for you?
they will.
Are they going to come and cheer you on?
Yeah, they will.
Len,
Although I
be,
say that my teenagers like that. Yeah, but what time will it be? Because like I've got nothing to do all afternoon. I've got screen time to do. I know what I was talking about relaxing and visualizing, and we've briefly mentioned music.
Oh yes.
So I will be running there will be a playlist somewhere along the line. My other half is a DJ and a producer, so of course he thinks this is a personal challenge to create the world's best ever marathon playlist, which will definitely have like snippets of you talking to me in it without a shadow of a doubt. But we thought it might be really good fun as well, and we're asking everybody this: if there was a song from you that I could put on the running playlist, what would it be?
I would say put The Source featuring Candy Staton.
You've got the love.
You've got the love. Yes.
Not like I just did it, but like Candy Staton.
Yes, that one, and I love that I Run. That's out right now. Well, it's been,
oh yes, yeah, of course.
I mean, your husband probably heard of that ages ago because he's
so
on it.
It's so cool.
It's so cool. But yeah, I love that. So that's really good because it's drilling it in. I run. It's just like brilliant.
Right.
So
now it's going on. It'll go on the playlist. It will go on the playlist for you. That is it. Candy Staton's there. Okay. We're going to do, you're going to take me through a few stretches, just shortly, a couple of exercises as well. If there was one thing, if somebody's listening and they were where I was 3 months ago, 4 months ago, kind of just going, you know what, there's no chance in hell I will be able to do this. It's something that I've thought about, but it just seems too big a task. What would be your advice?
I would just say do it. The more you think about it, the more you'll talk yourself out of it. So you've just got to make that decision. Could I commit that time to some running each day, or each time that week, 4 times a week, and if you can, do it. Are you available the day of the marathon? Yeah, that's it. Do it. And I think just take it right back to basics. Just think about, would you like to do that in 3 or 4 months' time? As in, I'm saying that now. Obviously, you'd have committed quite a while ago. But it's just you will see people on. Well, everybody watches marathon and thinks,
yeah,
wow. You cry watching it.
I do.
You do. It's just. It's amazing. And I mean, I remember watching it when I was younger and never dreamed that I'd be one of those people running it. I remember seeing it at my grandma's on TV thinking, wow, that's London Marathon. London felt miles away.
Nell McAndrew's Guide to Running. If you can't get Nell to coach you personally, never mind. I've had half an hour with this absolute beauty, and it's been so priceless.
I'll let
and
you
so
share
precious.
me feta cheese and beetroot
Sure.
sandwich.
Oh, well, there you go. Now I know we're friends. I know we're friends now that we're sharing your sandwich. You can have a look at the book. It's amazing. It's been out for a while now, and it is. It's got you. It's got sunshine. It's got Smiley Nell all over
smile
it.
when you get to that
Yeah.
end. You're going to smile. You're going to smile as much as possible. Yeah, you're going to sprint across that finish line, and hands in the air. This is going to be the life-changing moment. And when you look back on it, you'll be like, gosh, yeah, don't you remember when we did that marathon? You're just going to love it.
You are the biggest cheerleader. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Nell McAndrew. One of the most lovely people I think I've ever met. And if I don't get a run in with Nell McAndrew in the rolling dales up near Leeds at some point, I'll be very cross. So thank you very much to Nell McAndrew. Now, we always want to hear from you as well. You've been amazing on Instagram and via the platforms to get in contact as well. It's really nice getting to know you and get to know what you're doing and how it's all going. So please don't stop that. Your running wins, your wobbles. We'll put a question up every week as well to get involved with, which is working really well. You can WhatsApp us anytime on +44 333 00 333 00. You could feature on next week's episode. Fancy. Jenny says, I'm running my first marathon this year at 42. Hooray for Jenny. There have been moments in my training where I've thought, why the hell am I doing this? Yeah, you and me both. Absolutely. Do you ever have that? And what do you say to yourself on those days to keep going? I have that pretty much all the time, Jenny. And I think as somebody who's never traditionally turned to running as a way to kind of let loose or a kind of way to relax, it's always been something I've had to do. And that's changing slowly. It is changing slowly, but it is really, really difficult. I kind of default to it's not an option. It's just not an option to not do it because it is a race that I'm running towards. I wonder whether it would be different if I didn't have a challenge at the end of it. I really do. But I think at this point, I just don't have an option. It just has to be done. And that kind of takes the doubting thoughts out of my head. It just removes that element. And that's what I do. I also make sure that there is something sweet and carby in the biscuit tin for when I come home. Helen says, hi Emma. Hi Helen. I'm 48 and what I struggle with most is pace, especially on the long runs. How have you dealt with days where your pace is slower than you expected, but you feel your effort is huge? Do you care about pace? Do you pull back and walk? How do you approach this? There's a thing called jeffing that I've spoken to lots of people about. Jeffing is really normal. It's running and a little bit of walking. It's running and a little bit of walking. If you need to walk, doesn't matter. I am not in this for a pace at all. I'm doing this because it is a huge and mighty thing to do, and doing it in any way, shape or form is incredible. I think, and I hear from a lot of people that have run more than a few marathons, pace starts to become something because it's a personal challenge. You want to see if you can do it again, see if you can do a bit faster. I am not there yet. If we cross the finish line, I've still got 2 legs that go 1 foot in front of the other. It will be a riotous success. But there are days when it's disappointing. disappointing. And I had one a couple of weeks ago where we went out to do 5K and I couldn't run a mile. And I was reassured because I really beat myself up about it, that those weeks are really normal. And sometimes that will happen. And that's your body saying, just sit still, have a bath, do some stretching, and you'll come back, because the work you will have done is important and will count. So don't panic. Just take it easy. All right, as always, we can't get through all your questions. I could talk to you for hours about this because it's just, because it's my life right now. But that is it from us today. Thanks very much. It's been an amazing episode. Don't forget you can WhatsApp us your questions on +44 333 000. Coming up in the podcast, it just gets better. We'll be joined by the mighty Bryony Gordon. Queen of running in her pants, incredible author, journalist, all-round amazing lady. Our very own here at Virgin Radio, Chris Evans as well. I'm going for a run with him soon. And Ailish McColgan. So elite runners, fun runners, incredible brains and great humour all on the way. And you can join me on Virgin Radio every weekday morning from 10 a.m. And I will catch you again on I Can, yes you can, run a marathon.
Virgin Radio.